Hello and welcome. My name is Brenda Onyango Kitui. I am a counseling psychologist and a hospitality lecturer. So today's video is another conversation with a very special guest. Yeah, I'm excited to be here and we are going to be discussing a very, very important topic. So before we start, I'm going to ask my guest to introduce herself and to tell us something about herself. Karibu.
Hello, Brenda.
Hello.
My name is Wanjiru Ndung'u Mungai. I'm a counseling psychologist. I'm very passionate about mental health. And I actually love working with the youth. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Wanjiru. So today, this conversation is a continuation from a video I did on what is depression. Yeah. So today we are going to be finding out how do you support someone who's been diagnosed with depression? Yeah. If your friend, your sister, your brother, your mother, your father has been diagnosed with depression, how do you support them? Okay. So Wanjiru is going to help me tackle that topic, and she'll be doing most of the talking today, but I will chip in every now and then. So I'm going to be asking a few questions, then she'll respond, and that is how we are going to go about it, okay? So the first question I want to ask you, Wanjiru, is how do you start a conversation with someone who has been diagnosed with depression?
Thank you, Brenda. This is a very, very important question because conversation around depression is not easy for most of us. Actually, most of us may not understand depression. And so when you think about how do you even start this, it can seem like a very daunting task, but it's better to try than not to try at all. We talk about friends, family, colleagues. So these are people you care about. So you can make that first move when you notice that your loved one is going through depression. It doesn't have to be, rehearsed. Let it be natural. So when you visit this person, you could simply ask or say, I noticed that lately something is different about you. Would you like to talk about it? And depending on the answer you get, if they say no, then you can go ahead and say, it doesn't have to be today. Whenever you're ready, just remember that I'm here. Something simple. Or you can even say, I've been noticing that lately you've been missing out on a few things, even events. Is something happening to you? I would like to understand what it is that you're going through. Could you kindly make me understand what it is that you're going through? Something simple and natural. And again, you must remember the person you're talking to. A close friend, you not talk to them in the same way that you can speak to a colleague because you may not be extremely close. And if it's a family member, and even the love you share also changes the language. So use the language that you think your friend or your loved one understands best. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have to ask them? Do you have to ask?
You may not have to, because remember, what the most important thing is you want to show them support. So you may not have to address the word depression. Just letting them know that you're there, that you have come to see them, they'll understand why you've come. And they may not actually want you to address the word depression. So if they do not want to address that on that particular day, you don't feel bad about it. You flow with what it is that they want you to talk about. They want to talk about the sun outside, fine. Although I doubt they don't talk about the sunshine on that day. So whatever it is that they present is what you take. Yeah.
Okay.
But
so
remember, do not oversimplify the fact that they are going through depression. You can't just go to somebody who has been in bed and say, cheer up, Brenda, smile. It can't be that bad. No, if I could smile, I would not be in this situation right now. So give me time, the smile will come.
Okay, so you take their lead. In this starting the conversation or asking them, you take their lead.
Yes.
Okay.
If they want to talk, they will. If they want to take it slow, you take it slow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That is good to know. I think that will help us because sometimes, your friend is going through something. Sometimes you can see someone's patterns have changed, but you don't really know what to do. Like, what's the next step? Yeah. And I think it really helps that you have told us, you let them take the lead. If they want to talk about it, you talk about it. If they want to, they don't want to talk about it, you're there. Your presence is good enough.
Yes.
Okay, okay. And how else can you support them without really asking? Yeah, other than your presence, how else can you support without asking?
There are many things you can do to support them without asking, because maybe you are also fearful that you may ask and get rejected. People fear rejection, even for you as a caregiver. So start by validating their feelings. Offer that help without being asked. Tell them, I may not really understand what it is that you're going through, but I'm right here. Give them that presence. It makes them feel somebody sees me, somebody can see what it is that I'm going through, and they are here for me. If really somebody sacrificed their time to come and see me when I'm in that state, it means that person cares. So that care is key, and that help. So you could say, you could even offer to do something for them. You could also say something like, do you think there is something I could do for you today? A specific task that you'd like me to help with today? And I think most people would welcome that. So they'd be like, whatever it is that they want you to help with, it could be maybe even cleaning the house. Maybe they've not taken out their garbage for days on end. Take out their garbage for them. It could even be the dishes that they're still at the sink, you clean. I mean, there are many things you can do, but that offering help without being asked, I think it's very important. And then again, do not make it your story. So let them know that the focus is on them. How are you managing? How are you coping? For how long have you been feeling like this? Did something happen that, made you start feeling this way? I am here to listen, offer that listening ear. And there's something we call active listening. Right now you are listening to me, Brenda. I want to believe it is active, by the way. But when you go to someone and they're talking to you, there is hearing and there is listening. So when this person talks to you, and by the way, remember this person may be even, withdrawn and fatigued. So the voice may not be as strong as it is as we talk right now. So be that careful listener. Give them that active ear, so that they're able to vent if they need to without feeling judged. Without feeling judged. So listen carefully, and you do not have to answer. Listening is good enough. Do not offer advice. That's a don't for depression. Do not offer them your advice. You may think it is nice, but let them tell you their story and just listen.
Okay, you've said something interesting. There's a difference between hearing and listening.
Oh, yes.
One of my lecturers used to say, the mistakes that we make is when someone is telling you something, most of us are usually not listening. We are usually thinking of the next response, the next thing we're supposed to say, yeah? And so I think it's just important that we highlight that is not active listening. Like you've said, active listening is letting them tell their story, not trying to think about the next thing you're going to say, advising them. You're just there to listen. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So that's really good. I think those are very good points to note about how to support someone without asking them. Okay.
Yes.
So how do you support someone who can't leave their bed or their house? Because this is the popular image of depression that we hear about in the media, that somebody is not able to leave their bed or they are not able to leave their house. So how would you support your friend, your family who is in that state? Yeah.
By offering them hope. Let them know that there is hope after depression. Visit them. And if you think that you may not have also yourself a lot of time to maybe go over to their place, maybe by the nature of your work, call them, text them. And if you realize they are not replying to your text messages or even that phone call, actually that should be a signal that something is happening to your friend. Because if you are a regular caller, then you know something is amiss. That is why you're going to sacrifice and go over to their place and now find out what it is that is happening to them. And because they are in bed, don't just go and oversimplify this situation like, hey, get up. Don't even see the way the world is such a beautiful place. Why are you in bed till 10 o'clock? It is midday, it is noon. Why are you still asleep? No, go slow. What is when you actually say, I noticed that, these days you wake up after midday, because that might be a family member. Maybe we might need to talk about what is happening to you. Did something happen that we do not know? Listen again carefully. Let them know that there's a lot that you can do together. If a friend is not being able to get out of their bed, it means they are not cooking, Brenda. So this person would do them a lot of good if you help them make a meal. You can make this meal and then share. Don't just make the meal and tell them, okay, see you next week. No, make the meal, sit with them, and that way it will make them able to even have something. Remember, one of the symptoms for depression are, the lack of appetite, or maybe the over appetite. But if they've not been eating, helping them make this meal is one way of, making them feel better, because you also need that physical strength, that the energy, that physical energy is key. And then you can also help them to, clean. And something, Brenda, if I'm offering something, it attracts you to whatever it is that I'm doing. So if I offer to clean your house, it might make you feel like, by the way, she came and she helped me to clean. So maybe I can also get up and maybe remove this cup that has been in my bedroom for these 5 days. So that way you actually get them out of bed without having to tell them, get up, But by the way, your body language is everything. Even how you talk to this person can make them get out of bed and do something with you. Invite them to maybe take a walk with you. Invite them to take that shower. Girls love their hair so much, and somebody has not been to the salon for so long. And if this is a close friend, this is your sister, you can offer to wash their hair. Why not? In fact, you shall be helping them save that money that they could have taken to the salon. So there are many ways you can help somebody who is not able to get out of bed. And of course, that is also another chance to let them know that it is okay to seek professional help. Maybe they've been lying in bed thinking it's just a little sadness that will go away. Depression must be treated either by medicine or psychotherapy, counseling, whatever it is that somebody chooses. But to help them get to that stage, you will urge them in a very loving way, carefully. You can't just sleep depression away. No, it won't work. So by getting them out of that bed slowly, then they'll be able to tell you maybe what it is that they're feeling at that very moment. Then you can gauge whether they have actually sought treatment, doctors to see the psychiatrist or the psychotherapist, and that way you'll be helping them get out of that bed.
Okay. So those are other very good points here. So you can actually offer help to someone who cannot be able to get out of bed or get out of their house. Yeah, even if their situation is that extreme, there's still something you can do. Okay. All right. So another
thing you could do, help. Let us understand that since we are talking about supporting someone going through depression, help does not have to be this drastic effort, this huge task. If you're in your house and you are giving me a call every morning, reminding me, hey, Wanjiru, have you taken your meds? That is very important, because going to the hospital or to the psychiatrist ward is one, and taking your meds is another. You could have it all in the house, but it is just sitting there. Nobody cares whether I take it. So I continue with the sleeping. So it may be important that I make myself, available to just make that one call in the morning to remind you to take your medicine, or just to even drive you to your appointment. That again can help.
Okay, yeah, that's really good. I hadn't thought of that. Maybe your support doesn't have to be that huge gesture. It can be that small thing of, have you taken your meds? Yeah. Have you gotten out of bed today? Yeah. Okay, I think that's very important, because we always, when we say here as supporting someone who's been diagnosed with depression, it seems like this huge task, this big sacrifice that you have to make. But even those small things really go a long way.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the other question I would like to ask you is, how do you support someone who says they're depressed, but they don't look depressed? Look in quotes. Yeah. How do you support such a person?
This one, Brenda, again, I think this is how we demystify depression. Because most of us think for you to be, to be depressed, you must look a certain way. You must be that person who does not comb their hair. You are that person who does not get out of bed. You are that person who has now not been able to go to work for, days on end. You must be that person who is very, very moody. You do not have to have this, because people can mask depression. So maybe the colleague next door is depressed, or the one right next to in the office is depressed, but does not show it on the outside. Your brother, your sister is in their room, very depressed, but you assume, oh, they're just watching some video, That CEO may be depressed. And that is where people misunderstand depression. They think it must show. A CEO must report to work and, head this huge institution or whatever it is, that company. And so they will not want their employees to know, I'm going through depression. They must be, the manager that performs optimally. So they will hide that depression. And so for you, you will not be telling somebody, no, Brenda, you're not depressed. Do you know what depression means? You can't be depressed. What do you mean you are depressed? Oh my God, with everything that you have, Brenda, with your big job, you live in this big neighborhood, you're driving all the cars, high-end cars. How can you be depressed? Depression does not know material. Depression does not know race, whether you're black or white. Depression does not understand social economic status. The young and the old, the youth and the old people, married and the single, anybody can be depressed. That is where people should stop thinking, those ones, they have it all, they cannot be depressed. You remember the cliche, the rich also cry? Exactly. So do not assume because somebody looks a certain way, they cannot be depressed. Anyone can be depressed. So what do? Do not ever, I don't know whether I should say that, but yes, do not ever express disbelief when somebody tells you you're depressed. Don't be like, no, so-and-so is not depressed. Why are you pretending to be depressed? Do not blame. Maybe I had told you something about my divorce, and you're telling me, you are to blame. If you had not done ABCD to your husband, you would not be in this state. Do not blame. Then, other than the disbelief and also the blaming, you can also maybe ignore. Some people ignore when I tell them that I'm depressed. No. Try and sit and listen. Again, since we are talking about the same topic, we shall go back to what we said earlier. Do not ignore that person who tells you they are feeling sad lately, they are feeling depressed. There must be a reason they chose you and not the other person. So be there for them, be a friend, be that support. And the other thing you cannot do is also to dismiss them. Do not be dismissive. Something like, do you actually know what I'm going through? Have you heard lately that guys are not eating? Especially during Corona times. Why are you even talking about depression at this time? Do you have an idea what is happening out there? If only you knew what some of us go through. No. Listen to this person, because everybody has their story. They may not look it, but they are going through it. Those are some of the things you can actually do. And there are many others. There are many others.
Yeah, I'm sure there are. There are so many others, which now we'll discuss in our next meeting when you're available again, so that we go through them. Yeah, but I think it's good that you've demystified some of these myths that we hear all the time, that depression must look a certain way and depression is an illness for certain people. Yeah. And that reminds me of an interview I watched of Daddy Owen. He was being interviewed by Jalango, and he was talking about having experienced depression and having gone to different hospitals before he could figure out that it's depression. Yeah. And somebody might say, oh, he's a musical superstar, he has it all. But you see, depression does not discriminate anyone, yeah? Because we are all humans, and any illness that someone can get, another person can also get, depending on the circumstances, yeah? And like I always say, mental illness does not discriminate. And like you've said, it does not see color, race, socioeconomic status, and all that. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So as we wind up, is there anything else that you would like to add or to emphasize or to just let everybody know about?
Yeah, one thing that I think is very important is to remind everyone that depression is treatable. So that somebody knows that it will not be that way, forever. Depression is treatable. And I think we had mentioned you can either go to a psychiatrist or you can go to a psychotherapist. You can go for counseling. You can combine, the treatment for depression, so that your caregivers may know that it will not always be like this. There is hope after depression. And maybe also to mention here, Brenda, about that last point about not looking depressed while you're depressed. It is very important to mention this, that a lot of suicide cases actually are a result of depression. And the fact that somebody was with you at a party last night, looking very happy, actually being the life and the soul of the party, and then today you hear it on the news when so is no more, and you're thinking, no, it can't be. That person was the happiest in the crowd. I mean, because in public, this person is okay. But when they leave, the public, when they are on their own in private, they are very sad people. We must look out for that. That is why we must educate ourselves on depression. To be able to support the other person, you must know what it is that you are supporting. So you must understand, what is it that I'm supporting? What is depression? What does it look like? We educate ourselves on what it is that depression looks like. And then for ourselves, which is another key area, we must be healthy ourselves, mentally and physically, because you cannot be all burned out, Brenda, and you're coming to help me clean my house, and you're coming to encourage me. You need to be yourself very healthy so that you also don't burn out. And set boundaries. Maybe I have been seeing you every Monday, then meetings start to happen. Maybe you are in practice, you have a client at the time I normally come to see you. You won't stop to see your client on that day. You'll politely tell that person, I know I've been seeing you on these days, but beginning now, we shall change the schedule, so that they also understand you are not abandoning them, because you can't do something that you can't finish. Let us be our brother's keeper. That's what I would say.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I think that's really important to emphasize, because depression is a wide topic. There's so much we can say, there's a lot to discuss, but it is just important that we highlight the very significant facts, the facts that people need to be 100% aware about. Yeah. Okay. So I think we'll end it there for today. Yeah, we'll probably have this conversation again in a different way, but for now we'll end it there. So Wanjiru, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for creating the time to discuss the topic. I really, really appreciate. And I know what we've discussed today is going to help so many people. And may you be blessed abundantly for that. Okay.
You're most welcome, Brenda. I'm also very, very happy that I was able to be here at this time, and I'm available for any other time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Okay, so thank you for watching the video to the end. Make sure you watch the other videos on this channel. There are videos to educate you on issues of mental health and to help you find a better way to navigate through life. And so make sure you watch all of them, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Mental is human.